This video is sponsored by Dreamverse. Dreamverse is the world's first NFT and music festival. It is being held on the 4th of November at Terminal 5 in New York. It is a physical event. Really cool stuff happening. In particular, it is the first time that Bleeple's The First 5,000 Days NFT will be showcased. This is the most expensive NFT in the world at $69 million. There's a whole bunch of art stuff going on, including AR and VR experiences. That's from 12 to 4 p.m. And then there is the Dreamverse party from 8 to 1 a.m. Headlined by Alesso, various other artists there as well. Of course, the tickets are NFTs designed by a lot of money. You can buy them now. You get this sepia version, and when you turn up and get them scanned, you get this fully colourful version of the ticket itself, a valuable NFT. So check it all out. It's happening the 4th of November in New York. Check it out at dreamverse.life. Thanks for the sponsorship. Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, John Jordan. So I'm going to look at a project that I didn't really know very much at all about until this week, and they did a press release about they raised some money. So POPULUS is the sort of project. I do realise that I did actually know the CEO, Tobias Patton, who a couple of years ago, 2018, actually was launching something else in the blockchain space called LootForge, I think, back in the day. Anyway, he's sort of re-emerged with this new project, which is a sort of game publisher called Populus. It's raised like 3 million on a seed round from some of the usual suspects, Animoca brands, and some other investors. It's obviously quite easy, not quite easy, but you can raise money at the moment fairly easily, I should say. So they are going to be, they're a blockchain sort of game publisher, and they've sort of announced their first project, which I hadn't really heard of. Has been around for a while. It's worth just quickly sort of going through it. So they're called Lamo, I suppose. Lamo. I don't know, Lamo, but so this is from their Medium, or this is from the Populus Medium. So this is what the game looks like. It is actually a game that was developed and went through a few different sort of processes and a few sort of dead ends and sort of reinventing itself. And it's always interesting, I think, when I mean, there are strengths and weaknesses from trying to take an existing project to blockchain. In some ways, it's easier to sort of go from a kind of a blank sheet of paper. But equally, if you've already like built up a whole bunch of stuff and sort of have a game that you didn't sort of release or didn't get to sort of release, I don't think it's impossible for you to rebuild things. And that, obviously, it's a bit quicker then because you've built a bunch of stuff. Anyway, so this project, LAMOverse. It can't be LAMOverse, can it? Because why would you call your game lame? Oh, anyway, Lamo. So they've been developing this stuff, and it was a PC game, and then they ended up sort of trying to do some mobile stuff, and they've gone back to PC, so it'll come out on Steam. But they are doing this sort of, let's go here. So this is the website for them at the moment. It's a pretty light website. So they're going to have this sort of game thing, which is a battle royale sort of experience, as we can see there. Obviously going to have these collectible sort of characters. These are the characters in the game, very sort of Funko, sort of inspired. Obviously, we've seen things like Blancos and other things, 3D NFTs. Obviously, we can imagine sort of all the crossover stuff that might happen, and then they've got some augmented reality sort of stuff because that's what people want. I guess people think sort of AR's coming. I guess at some point it is, probably not now. So anyway, we can kind of see that the sort of what they're trying to kind of the spread they're trying to do in this kind of a LAMOverse, and yeah, it's the AR sort of teaser. So they're making a game in 2019 on the PC game, put it onto Steam, and then for some reason decided they were going to go mobile first. Which they now regret. They were going to raise some money because of COVID and stuff. That didn't happen. So now the ex-Populus team, who now clearly have some money, have met the Lamo team. I don't know. So that's sort of they've decided to sort of come together. So that's sort of interesting to see. I mean, it's very early stages. They have launched some NFTs. Actually, we'll have a quick look at that. But we've basically got, it's interesting, I think, whereas lots of people are now using Verse because the metaverse is a big thing. But what does that actually mean? Well, we don't really know. But we can kind of see here, we have a PC game, we have a mobile app with some VR sort of stuff going in there, and we have sort of NFTs holding this sort of stuff together. So, who knows if this can be massive or not? I don't know. I mean, I think the big advantage this sort of project has is if it's got a game ready to go, then or, roughly ready to go, or even something that's playable. That's really big because a lot of these NFT projects now are sort of launching stuff and say we're going to make a game or blah blah blah, and they haven't got a clue. They haven't got a games team. I mean, even the amount of games teams raising money without having a games team is a bit staggering, and that's a bit of a sort of a danger sign because it's really hard to build a games team if you don't have one. It's enormously expensive to try and hire. and particularly now people are sort of hiring sort of distributed models around the world, so you never even meet the people you're hiring. You don't really know what you're getting. You know, there's going to be a recipe for disaster for many teams. Not saying for these guys, because these guys are already a team, so that's their advantage. Okay, let's have a quick look at the NFTs. So this is on OpenSea. Obviously, this is their first drop they've done. It's sort of typical. Sort of actually no 10,000 is it? They've got 1,400. So pretty low floor price, although it goes up. It tends to go up quite quickly. So this is the first sort of drop. Personally, I'm not massively inspired by these. It may just be me. We can click on there. Obviously, the 3D animated sort of thing. So they're doing, I guess, you can imagine that in a game as some sort of battle royale thing. There are some more interesting ones. Obviously, as the price starts to go up, so we've got the guy with a skull on his head. We've got some other sort of weirdo ones, and actually the price starts to actually get fairly expensive. Oh, gold one looks nice. Oh yeah, it's rather expensive. So you can kind of see where they're going with this. He's a bit more fun. He's not chopping someone's head off. But it is interesting that these sort of projects have been around, and suddenly they're all sort of raising their money. They're all sort of decloaking. I think we are going to have, you know, it's a nice problem to have. We are going to have a glut of these sort of games, and it is interesting. You know, do these stand out? You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm not really a big Funko collector, but this sort of, for games companies, it's fairly easy to build these sort of cute 3D Funko type characters. The first couple to get games out are clearly going to have an advantage because they're going to have utility, which will probably feed back into price to some degree. But at some point, you know, the fact you can do this is not going to be enough. It's going to be, can you do the exclusive deals with whatever, Marvel, Disney, you know, blah, 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 do those crossover things. That's really where it's going to sort of pan out. Because I think when it does come to these sort of metaversey type things, there probably is a bit more of a winner-takes-all scenario, particularly when you're buying these sort of things. You don't want to spend $100 buying something in a failed metaverse with no one in it. Clearly, you know, to a degree, metaverse is going to be driven by popularity, and that means sort of people in the metaverse rather than the fact you've got a metaverse and you're trying to get people into it. So anyway, we'll see how POPULUS and LAMOverse sort of kick in while keeping an eye on what they're doing. Obviously, going to be a whole bunch more sort of NFT drops, so there'll be different styles, I'm sure. Thanks for watching the video. It's Blockchain Gaming World, keeping our finger on the pulse as much as we can. Our fingers are across many pulses, and I need more fingers, maybe more hands. But please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon.